Hi, I'm David Lee. Welcome again to another episode of my Culinary Capers. Today I want to show you how to make my wife's and my favorite bread for the morning. It's a almond glazed poppy seed bread. And I must give credit to Beyond Parsley Cookbook, which was from the Junior League of St. Louis. And it's been wonderful little recipe. I've ad-libbed it a little bit over the years. So let me tell you what the ingredients are and then we'll get to work. So we start out with 3 cups of flour. Then we have 1½ teaspoons of salt, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, 3 eggs, 1½ cups of milk, and then 1 stick, ½ cup of butter, which is at room temperature. Then we have 1½ cups of milk and 1/2 cup of oil. And I just put that right on top of the milk. Then we got that taken care of. Okay. Then we have 2 1/4 cups of sugar, 1½ teaspoons of wood poppy seeds, and 1½ teaspoons of vanilla and 1½ teaspoons of almond extract. And then for the glaze, which we'll do it separately, we have 1/4 cup of orange juice, 1½ teaspoons of vanilla, 1½ teaspoons of almond extract again, and 3/4 cups of sugar. So it seems like a lot, but what I do when I'm going to cook this at home for myself is I put all the dry ingredients in my pan before I go to bed. Then in the morning I just put the wet ingredients in. So let's get started. So the fun part about this is you just put everything in the pan and mix it up. So that's what we're going to do now. And I always have my recipe next to me just to make sure I don't forget something. So there's the flour. Here's the salt. The baking powder. And then our 3 eggs. Once again, let me do this. I would put the dry ingredients in the night before. So I'm just going to do that now here. Then in the morning, as soon as I make my coffee, then I put the wet ingredients in. Here's my eggs. Here's my milk and oil. And my vanilla and almond extract. So there we have it. So and you really want the butter to be nice and soft so that it mixes up well. There we have it. Now my batter's ready. I'll put this in my sink. So now the recipe calls it, this will either make 2 nice loaf pans or 5 small ones. And I got to tell you, well, first of all, I want to brag on our thrift shop, because I now go over there and check all the stuff out, but I was able to buy all of these small ones in the thrift shop, and frankly one of these is just enough for both of us to have a nice wonderful breakfast. So when we get done, then the extra ones I'll either give to my neighbors, or I'm actually on the welcoming committee here, so all the new neighbors get a loaf of my bread. Or I can wrap them in aluminum foil and freeze them, and then I have a few breakfasts left over. So I want to get 5 of the small ones ready. And if you watch my shows, you'll see I'm a fan of putting them on a sheet tray, cover with aluminum foil so I don't get my oven dirty. So I want to coat them with some cooking oil, and I just use a canola oil spray all the time. Much easier than trying to butter them yourself. Now a little trick that I've learned, thinking back at watching my mom make pies, and that is I've cut some parchment paper or wax paper to put on the bottom after this now. It just helps get them out of this when they're done without leaving some on the bottom. Particularly if you want to give these out to people as a present, you want it to look nice. So I went ahead and cut some of these up, and some for later on. So as you'll see at the end, this will just help us be able to get them out much, much easier. So now, let's put them in the oven. Okay, now let's taste them. They should be done, but these always take a little longer than I think they will. It looks like they're coming. As Mom taught me, they got to come out clean. So these are done. So now we're going to take them out and let them rest. There. Now, we need to let them rest for at least 10 minutes before we put the glaze on them. Okay, now I'm going to show you how we do the glaze. And once again, it's 3/4 of a cup of sugar, 1/4 of a cup of fresh orange juice, and 1½ teaspoons of vanilla, and 1½ teaspoons of almond extract. So now we need to bring that to a boil. And I'm going to cook it at a higher temperature than I might normally, and just so we can get it done and keep the show in a reasonable time. We don't have to bring this to a boil. We just have to keep stirring it until the sugar's dissolved. And we have that done. So now, let's go put the glaze on our breads. Now the first thing I do is very gently just put a knife around here to loosen them. And I say gently because I don't want to scratch my non-stick pans. There we go. I must admit that the glaze is what makes these. There you have it. Dan, we probably need to wait just a minute here to let this soak in. But there we have it. And I promise to say that our friends at the Legacy Society love the bread. So Jeff, Melody, and Maria. One or two of these are coming your way yet today. So I hope you'll try this on a Sunday morning. This is just a wonderful way to wake up, and it's wonderful. So there you have it. I'll get the recipe online for you as quick as I can. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy it. Bye now.